Something I wanted to talk about today was being articulate and actually having that skill of taking what's up here and actually vocalizing it. Okay? First thing that comes to my head is just practice. Practice taking what's in your head and saying it. I remember when I was in high school and some of my friends were like, Adam, do you even think before you talk? Do you even think before you speak? And I'm like, I was learning from mentors at the time. I'm like, I'm not supposed to think. I'm not supposed to think before I speak. You're not supposed to think. Sure, maybe what you say should be thoughtful, but you're not supposed to think about it. It sort of just comes out. It's like doing, right? It's like you're actually, like going and doing something. It's the same thing like we talk about with learning. And I'm so fond of learning through doing, right? Even for some Dao work I'm working on. I'm like, realistically, I'm not reading this book. Like, yes, I can. I have the capability to. I actually started reading one of the books by myself, but I stopped. What got me back to actually finishing that book was I made a project based around it. Right? I'm like, okay, let's make these cards. Okay, now I gotta research. I gotta look at all these hadith and Quran verses that are in the book. Right? So now now I have to read it and understand it. Right? So it's that same idea. Like how are you gonna get better at speaking by thinking about speaking? Strange. Like what do I say is a very elementary way of thinking. Because what really matters is your delivery. I'm not saying words don't have value, right? I come from a teaching style that values this sort of expression and this spontaneity and everything that decorates your words, right? That everything except for the words. That doesn't mean the words are not important, right? As a Muslim, like those words are so important. Even the Quran, right? Like the linguistic miracles, right? Like or even the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's speech, like it's very precise. It was very there was depth to it, right? He wasn't just singing some song or like it's not just some like you know what I mean, like when you see people who might be in pop culture today that have something in a very interesting way. They say it in a very interesting way, uh, but maybe the content's not so great. So, very interesting example. I happened to be in a pool yesterday, and in the space they were like blasting K-pop. Okay, and mind you, I've stopped listening to music for a while. Uh, just because like I don't just like go on like I used to have Spotify and like I'm going like okay time to pump me up, but I've honestly stopped resonating with that because like it's all just like crap. Like it's all just stuff that's like trying to distract you from Allah, and it's trying to like pump up your emotions and make you emotionally addicted to it, so when you don't have it you feel bad and then you need to like and you get numb. It's really weird. Like most music, like either their lyrics are like really like sexual, okay, or they're talking about drugs, or they're talking about gang like and that's like the music that like is like typically enjoyed, right? Which is crazy. Like I was a fan of like early 2000s stuff because that's what I grew up on. And I also used to like rock and it's just like there's this sort of I guess that nostalgia for it, but and like, yeah, it is creative work. Like I'm an artist, right? But like, you know, is like a naked painting a valid form of creative work? That's another question, right? I don't know about that, right? Like or like a naked statue, right? So if it infringes with the laws of Allah, that's also like a limit, right? And limits are good for artists, right? It gets us creative. But that's something we need to keep in mind as well as Muslim creatives. Anyway, that's a little perspective for you. Going back to how to be articulate, it's really like removing that governor that you have, like that sort of kink in the hose to just let everything come out nice and smooth. So another thing you can do to do that is actually eat healthy food. And what eating healthy food will do is allow you to actually think clearer. Therefore, you'll be able to speak better. Okay? So, actually, eating healthy food is like, not eating like fried stuff, not eating like overly excessive carbs, especially before you need to do like brain heavy tasks because carbs will get you tired. It's good maybe before you go to bed, right? Eat things that give you energy. There's this plant. There's this plant called gotu kola, or like you can look in things like mushrooms, like lion's mane, reishi. Look into this stuff. Fills a lot of the nutritional gaps in our system. Therefore, I think of it as almost like these little particles that go, these nutrients that like fill the holes in your brain, because your brain's like full of like Swiss cheese holes. Okay, so what's the next one? What's the next one? How do we become more articulate? Okay, well, move your body a little bit. It'll get your energy up. Okay, go for a walk like that. Have you heard that Joe Rogan? I love how he says it's like moving your body, like it just feels good. Like it just, I go to the gym, I don't really feel like doing it, and then I hit the pump, and then I'm like, man, this is awesome. Why'd I ever stop? You know? So move your body a little bit. But these are basic tips. I mean, but the basics are important because you need to lock that down. Now, in terms of actually like refining this, go out and meet some new people, and that's really what we teach here, right? Go out, meet some new people, and you will start to re-addict yourself to being a normal human being, because you're probably right now, most people are sort of in this derp state where you're used to consuming, right? But you want to get good at like producing. That's there's a book on my shelf. I haven't read it yet, but it's like something about how massive producers create extreme value and get rich from it or something. That's the title. And it's true, right? So if you can contribute, if you can be that person, and of course, first, like we started with sort of the self-care stuff, where like let's not even call it self-care, let's call it basic health. Okay, right? That stuff is gonna help you a lot. Okay. The next thing is also to deepen your connection with God. What do I mean by that? We communicate with three people. Uh, right, most often, and this is what I teach. There's more than this, but stick to the three. You communicate with yourself, right? You communicate with Allah, and you communicate with other people. Okay, so you communicate yourself with your thoughts, right? You also communicate with Allah through your prayer, through your dua, right? Through your actions, and you also communicate with other people, right? Through your speaking, your actions, interactions, emails, right? There's all these waves. So you want to get good at all three, and this will help you tremendously with getting good with other people as well, because all of it is training your brain to communicate what you're saying. Alhamdulillah, we're blessed with creatures with intellect, with thought, and what we need to be able to do is to understand that more sort of animalistic side of ourselves, that that chimpanzee style person in you. And really, it's very similar. There's a lot to learn, from studying these animals and watching these animals and understanding our animal nature. But that's not the only nature we have. We have an angelic nature as well, meaning that, like, maybe not an angelic nature per se, but we have the ability to be better than angels, right? So we have that unique free will that humans and jinn have, right? So though that's another person you can communicate with, the type of a jinn, okay? Um, but that's what you wanna get good at, okay? Because if you can get good, and it's really training your brain, it's training your neural pathways to do a certain thing. Have you ever, your phone updates, and you're like, man, like as much as these software developers, try to make it easy for the transition, it's like a little bit weird sometimes. You're like, how's my phone? Oh, this is a good one. I thought I was saving money once. I bought a Motorola phone. It was only $200. I'm like, yeah, good deal for a phone, man. And it won't break because Motorola. Okay, smartphone though. Okay, and the user interface was completely different from Apple, Android. So I just couldn't use it because I'm like, forget this. I need a phone to use, right? So I ended up getting a different one. But you see how, like, j- just because we're used to the phone being programmed to interact, like if I swipe up, it'll swipe up. If I do this, it'll do this, right? We're so used to that. So the change is difficult. So you've probably got some patterns going on, some habits of how you operate in this world, right? And what we need to do is we need to disrupt that a little bit. And the learning curve at the beginning is pretty high. But once you get to a solid place, right? Let's say, it can take anywhere from 2 months to 2 years. Uh, like depends on the person. But if you really take a step to prioritize your social skills, you can become articulate very quickly. All right, so that's the story. Okay. I want to congratulate you on making it to the end of this video and taking some time to really invest in yourself. All right, what I ask from you is if you can engage with the video, all that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share, right? It just helps this message reach more people, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.